Well, obviously a great 5 years. I got hired in Philly to bring a city a championship in the organization, and we were able to do that, as a team. And so obviously I can take a lot of lessons just from that season and really use them moving forward for me, and really take the positives from that year and how we constructed a roster and put players together, and with free agents and trades and draft picks and all that kind of stuff. And those are all things and then just the relationships too, with the players and coaches, and how all that came together to win a championship, are things that I can take, moving forward with Jacksonville. Well, I don't know much about that, but I know this. I've been around press now, the 5 years in Philly. Obviously, he was retained, with Chip Kelly's staff and everything. And what I've seen and worked with him, just his intelligence, his insight. He's a hard worker. He studies the game, and really a guy that I've had my eye on for a long time to put in this role and put in this position. So I have a lot of faith and confidence in him, and just looking forward to working with him and putting it together around a young quarterback in Jacksonville with Trevor and the team moving forward.
Doug, when you watch film of Trevor from last season, how does it complicate evaluation of the quarterback when things aren't perfect? Section maybe wasn't great. Trent earlier was talking about the lack of big plays, lack of those kind of things, maybe drive hard. Does that complicate their evaluation? What do you take on it?
I take that last year's last year, and we're starting fresh. We're starting new, and we're starting from the ground floor, and that's what I'm excited about. And that's why I think just moving forward, big picture. That's the great thing about taking over with having a young quarterback. Much like what we did in Philly. With Carson, and how in his second year, we saw the growth and everything in him, and Trevor's coming into that second year this year, and looking forward to working with him this spring. So I think sky's the limit. Obviously we've got some work to do. Nothing is perfect, and we're looking forward to that.
Can a reboot be good for a young quarterback after? That's a long year, regardless of how you personally play.
Well, I think so, and just the short conversations that Trevor and I have had already is just the fact that he's got an off season now to really kind of relax. It's hard on these young kids that are coming straight from college into this whole sort of rat race with all the moving parts through to training camp and a regular season. There's no downtime. So now he finally has time to really, I think, focus on what he did last year, but at the same time kind of rest and heal and really put a good plan together for how we want to attack this season. I've always focused on my strengths, and obviously, I surround myself with great people to help me with my weaknesses, right? I think that's how the give and take goes, and I know that I'm not perfect and have made mistakes in my career, but at the same time, again, that's why you hire people like Press Taylor, and you hire Mike Caldwell and guys like that, and to surround yourself with that can take my weaknesses and make them strengths. And I went through last year, a lot with my family off the football field, and it was a great time for me, and things work well, and things are, as you guys know, through my faith, I think it happened for a reason, and it was a great time to be away, a great time to recharge, and looking forward to this next chapter.
Are there things you want to do differently this time around?
Besides win another championship, it's one of those Philly guys, It's like, great question. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what you learn from your mistakes too, But I think that obviously what we did there are things that I can take into this new chapter, into this new job, and I'm motivated. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to working with a new team and really having a new lease on life, kind of, especially as a head coach. And I feel like I still have a lot to offer, a lot to give, a lot to bring to Jacksonville, and can't wait to get my hands on this team and really start working with them.
Doug, what kind of role do you want just in terms of working with Trent
That's one of the biggest things that I think has been reported or scrutinized or whatever, surrounding Jacksonville. But from the day I walked in that door, and really goes all the way back to our interview process, how collaborative we've been and the questions that we've been able to bounce off each other. And I want it to be that way. I want it to be transparent. I want it to be open and honest. And we're not always going to agree. I mean, that's part of this process. But at the same time, we can walk out the door and be united. And that's the most important thing, that we're keeping the organization, we're keeping the players first. And that's the biggest thing that we've been able to do, and building on that relationship each and every day. Well, I think you have to continue to use analytics. I think it's going to be a part of our game, right? It's going to be around, and for me, it's about taking the usefulness of it, and how can I apply it with the team, and how can I apply it, in game. Well, I didn't listen. With some of my life circumstances, I didn't watch a ton of football, quite honestly. I wanted to really unplug from it, and it's hard to really honestly speak to a lot of that, because I really don't know. Yeah, I mean, I had a chance to visit the Colts, in training camp last year, and talk with Carson and talk with Frank, and Press was there, listen, I've always wanted the best for him, and I think he can still win games in this league, and help and be the quarterback that I think he can be, and we know he can be. And but for me personally, it was I needed to take the time away, and so I didn't really engage as much with a lot of the things that were surrounding the Colts. Well, I think the biggest thing with Carson too is I kept the staff together, right, around him, and that's you have continuity and within the offense. And this is going to be a little different, because we're changing staffs, changing personnel, changing scheme just a little bit. But I think the fundamental part of the game is not going to change, and how we developed Carson, from the ground up, and that's something that we're excited with. With Mike McCoy being the quarterback coach, and obviously Press and what he's bringing, and Jim Bob Cooter on offense, and how we can really, build Trevor from the ground up, and get him to the type of quarterback that we know he can be at, and be successful with the team. Nope. Neither one. No, I have shown some cut-ups of Brett before, when I was a quarterback coach, and some of the things that I've done. But I think the game has changed a little bit. But some of the things that I take away from playing with those guys is there's still a level of physicality and toughness, mental and physical, that I think you can apply those things with a guy like Trevor. I just think coming in and being me, in the relationship that Trent and I have built, and continue to build every single day. And I think it speaks volumes what our owner has said, and he's really given the confidence to Trent and I to really build this thing, and not to say we can't continue to add value in the personnel department, which we could still do that, but at the same time, it just shows the confidence that he has, and really just me being me, from day one, and showing people there who I really am. I'm always going to be a coach. I'm always going to be a coach, and that's the part I love about the game is being with the players and coaching the game. But you also know too that you want to coach the players that you can hopefully bring onto your football team, and so if you have input there, I definitely want to have input, and I really feel like what Trent and I have built so far in less than a month is something that we can continue, through free agency, through the draft process, and on through training camp as we construct this roster.
So Doug,
Well, I think we're still early in the process as far as the draft goes. You know, the biggest thing obviously was evaluating our own roster, and that's kind of what we've come out of with the new staff is just evaluating our guys and seeing the level of talent that we have, and that's why I'm excited about the team. With the guys that we do have now. I said earlier that it's a work in progress, right? We're not where we want to be, and but we have the resources to, I think, make a difference, with Jacksonville, and really start chipping away at some of the negativity that surrounded this organization for so many years. I really think we can make an impact, and all of that is part of the process that Trent and I are going through, and really with the coaches too, involving the coaches, in this process. Again, we're the ones out there coaching the players. So, and that's what I like about the relationship Trent and I have is, hey, you're out there coaching them, so you should have input on who we select. Yeah. 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 It's real. I mean, it's a real thing. Coach Reed took over a Chiefs team the year before. I think won one game or two games the year before. And there's negativity and there's a cloud, and you got to try to lift that cloud. And Jacksonville right now, until we prove otherwise, right? That's who we are. And that's why I'm excited to really begin to work with this group and bring in another set of free agents, another round of draft picks, and having the resources that we have to begin to, lighten that cloud a little bit.
Everyone, we got time for one last question, please.
Start again, please. Obviously I was out of football last year, so being the first one that they talked to was relatively probably an easy way to start, right? The interview process. But that to me was when I looked around at the opportunities that may come up in the NFL. Jacksonville for me was an opportunity that I really embraced, and I was hoping that we would get to this where I'm at today. Just because of the team, the youth of the team, having a young quarterback, a quarterback that I liked, even coming out of Clemson. And so for me, that was the target, and really beginning to ask those questions of Trent in the interview process. And even as we, it went, I think, 30-something plus days before I interviewed again. But still, there was always that anticipation and that hope that, it was going to come true. And I'm just excited that and really thankful to, Mr. Khan for the opportunity and get a chance to work with Trent and the team.